Real estate listings to bounce back when lockdowns lift. Now, plenty of our states are in lockdown, and I know that people are restricted in terms of their ability to travel at the moment, and this is affecting the real estate market. We're also seeing a lack of supply relative to the demand in the market at the moment. There is huge demand to invest in the property market. People want to put their cash to work, and given the low interest rates, people are looking to make the most of this market that we're in. They're trying to ride the wave of capital growth that we've had and we're expected to have into the near future. And this is really pushing up prices. People are starting to get that FOMO and are starting to want to ride that wave of growth. So I just want to chat about where is the supply going to after the lockdowns lift in this video. So I think the reality of living with COVID and it becoming the new norm is going to change in the next 12 months here in Australia. The UK has completely opened up the gates and they've been largely vaccinated over there and have gone back to having sporting events, and obviously their property market is open for business. And it's largely the same in the US. Australia is going to move that way once the vaccination rates are uptaken and once Australia decides to open its doors. I think the property market is going to go to a new normal. Now, you're probably sick of hearing about the coronavirus. I know I sure am. I'm trying to avoid watching the news or checking out articles or anything like that. And that's what I've heard is happening over in other countries that have decided to move on. They're not really talking about numbers as much as we are hearing here in Australia. So I reckon that we'll reach that point in time where finally the news cycle gets away from the coronavirus and things start to go back to that new normal. So New South Wales has a plan to reopen after the COVID lockdown. But will Australia's economy bounce back this time? The New South Wales government has outlined its plan to reopen most sectors of the economy to vaccinated people as early as mid-October. The state's treasurer has said it's been a difficult winter, but it will be a bright summer. Classic politician. No doubt, that will be true for millions of the state's residents who've been stuck at home, largely unable to visit friends and family for the past 3 months. And I've definitely noticed that we've been so lucky up here in Brisbane. Chatting to people that have been locked down in New South Wales and Victoria, it's been pretty difficult for them, not being able to go very far from their homes, go to gyms, go to sporting events, go to their local shops without being worried about the conditions that they're put under at the moment with the lockdowns. So I think once the economy opens up and New South Wales opens up, it's going to be good for everyone in terms of moving on and moving forward. So there are concerns that the economy won't bounce back as strongly as it was pre-COVID lockdowns. And this might be true for some people. People who are in sectors of hospitality, tourism, travel might struggle and have a slow uptake in terms of being able to get back to work and back to making money and back to their daily life. But those people who are able to work from home and work in remote jobs and that are in higher paying incomes have been largely unaffected throughout this lockdown period, and they've been able to continue their jobs. Some people have been better off through this period of time and some people have definitely been worse off. My opinion is that the borders opening up and each of these states opening up, so Victoria and New South Wales and the ACT going back to work and opening the communities back up is good for everyone, and it's good for the real estate market. It's going to allow more transactions to occur. It's going to hopefully put more supply on the market. Now, there's plenty of demand out there, so we just need to see the supply come back. And I think people are holding off on listing their homes for sale, given that things have been locked down and they don't want people coming through their home or through their investment property while the lockdowns are in place. But I think once the Premier and the politicians decide to open the gates in terms of allowing people back to work and back into the community again, then we're going to see property and supply come back onto the market. Now, what does this mean for being a long-term investor like I am myself, and what I do for my clients in purchasing up here in Southeast Queensland? What I say to my clients and what I recommend to you guys is let's always think about the long term. What is your long-term plan? What's your long-term strategy? And are the microeconomies, so obviously each state and each city has its own microeconomic effects. So where you're looking to invest specifically, what's that going to look like when it returns to a new normal in the next 12 to 18 months? So if that area is largely based on tourism or international tourism, maybe not the best play in the short term, but maybe that's a great long-term play once the world comes to live with COVID. So if you're looking to invest in a major capital city, just think about what your plans are for buying and holding for the long term. Have a look at the cash flows, have a look at the forecast capital growth that you're expecting out of that opportunity. Of course, no one knows the future, or we all would have invested in Brisbane or any market even more 12 months ago. But with the information that you have available to you, break down the numbers, do your due diligence on those properties, and look to buy and hold for the long term. The statistics say that people who buy and sell within a 6-year period are likely to make a loss in property investing. So you really need to take a long-term outlook and a long-term mindset in making your property purchases. Property investing is a long-term game, so take that into your approach when looking to make your next investment or purchase for yourself when you're looking to jump into the property market. So I really think it's exciting that the lockdowns are starting to potentially be removed in the coming months, and eventually the state borders will open up across Australia. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing other states and seeing family that I haven't seen in several months, and they've been locked down and been having a tough time. So I'm happy that people will start being able to get back into the community, back into sport, and back into a sense of norm. If you're looking to make a property purchase, maybe check out this video where I talk about, is it too late to buy an investment property? See you in the next one. Peace.